So throughout this episode, there were many nods back to power, a lot of scenes that started to make sense, especially the ending scene with Detective Howard and Kanan. So I want to run through why Kanan saw himself in Tariq and the conversation between Raquel and Kanan in a bit more detail. But this wasn't the only powerful scene in the episode. There was also this between Jukebox and Marvin, and why it's now started to make sense, why Jukebox was such a cold character who showed no emotion, and I'm going to run through her flip of emotion in this scene. And something I normally do on a Monday is break down the trailer for the following episode, but considering this scene with Detective Howard, we can't just ignore it, so we're going to be talking about Detective Howard as well as Raquel's chess move. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. Let's talk about this powerful scene between Jukebox and Marvin first, because it certainly explained a lot, and there was some pure emotion in this scene between the two characters, who showed us that they were dealing with and battling their own issues. Jukebox is dealing with the death of Nicole, and Marvin's brother Lou is in hospital, and on top of all of this, Marvin finds out about Jukebox's sexuality, which we know he's dead set against, something he's spoken against of twice earlier on this season. Marvin is old school, and Jukebox's sexuality definitely doesn't fly with him, but I made reference to this being one of many reasons as to why Juke turned into a savage in my review and recap, but this adds to my brief comments in my previous video, which I do agree with and some parts I disagree with. She had an abusive parent, multiple traumatic events, and lost the love of her life at a very early age, something that stems from her putting pressure on Juke and affecting her mental state, making her careless, almost in relation to how Tommy was after he killed Holly, making her not value life, which is why she's so willing to ransom and kill Tariq. And I do agree and disagree with this. The abusive parent part only came through when Juke spat in Marvin's face, but Marvin was also wrong with how he approached this whole situation. And today we've seen Laverne fully being buried in my opinion. You guys have heard the reference of Jukebox's double life and how she flips from the character of Laverne to Jukebox. Just have a look at how much heartbreak she faced in this scene with Marvin. He showed her no mercy when he told her Nicole deserved a death, stamped on a tape which was one of the last memories she had with Nicole. Marvin almost strangled her to death, but she turns from this heartbroken, hurt Laverne to Jukebox straight away as she leaves her room. Just look at how quickly she wipes her tears and face and puts back on her character as Jukebox. And after this confrontation, the relationship between Marvin and Jukebox will never be the same again, because this was really Marvin's chance to connect with Juke. We've seen this awkwardness between their relationship all season long, but this was their chance to sit down, talk and connect. But because of the way Marvin is and the way Jukebox is, they clash. But the one-to-one connection that he could have had with Jukebox, he blew it. Both Jukebox and Marvin's emotions were at an all-time high, and their connection is already minimal. But all the emotions dealing with Nicole's death and Lulu almost dying was intense, and this scene definitely was intense. I made brief reference to the Tommy and Holly scene from season 3 episode 5, where Tommy strangled and killed Holly, but he instantly showed remorse and slumped to his knees, something similar to what we saw with Marvin. He sat back and realized the mistake that he just made, but it's too late. This is going to make Jukebox an absolute savage, where she doesn't care about herself or what trouble she gets into, and we've even seen in the episode 10 trailer how she gets arrested by Detective Burke by the looks of it. We saw Tommy showing a complete disregard for his life after the death of Holly, just inviting Milan's men to kill him, and this is probably something similar to what we'll see from Jukebox. But I'm definitely going to be covering an updated character analysis of Jukebox's character later on this week in relation to the 48 Laws of Power and how we've seen her character develop. So let's move on and talk all things Raquel and how fucking cold she is. This was a mom who wasn't just accepting Kanan for who he is, but telling him that he has to be the one to look a man in the eye with no emotion and put him on his back. She was asking Kanan to take a man's life, and there's definitely a lot of similarities between Kanan and Tariq's characters, and it makes sense as to why Kanan took such a liking to Tariq. Kanan showed just how similar he was to Raque when he appeared in Tariq's hallucination and told him that he has to pull the trigger because Ghost would never see it coming from him. And Kanan gave a very similar speech to Tariq which Raque gave to him, and also with how their mothers treat them and accept them for who they are. But you talk about Tasha telling Tariq, "Alright Raque, I'ma teach you the game." When Raque took this to a whole nother level with Kanan when she asked him to kill Detective Howard, and on top of all of this, not telling him who he's really killing. So let's talk about how real Raque is. She put Kanan on the street code, and as she was talking, just notice the little things, especially with how she clocked the chamber before she put the gun to Kanan, the latex gloves to put the bullets in the clip, stone cold street, and this was cold from Raquel, and the continuation of this father and son killing theme that we've discussed on this channel many times, but we don't know if he's dead just yet, because we saw in the episode 10 trailer, it seems as if Howard may just be alive, just about, but only time will tell, and we'll only be able to know when we watch episode 10. And if Howard is alive, he could very well keep Kanan's name out of his mouth in exchange for this bone marrow transplant, but for that to happen you'd still need Raquel's permission, and you'd still need to explain to Kanan why he's giving this bone marrow transplant to Detective Howard, which would definitely be an awkward conversation between Raque and Kanan. Kanan, especially after she sent him to kill him in episode 9, but it definitely is still a possibility and it can't be ruled out because we don't know if Detective Howard is dead or alive. But as Raq thought she could eliminate two birds with one stone, which was Unique and Detective Howard, inadvertently she may have just created her biggest problem yet, and that's with her own son Kanan. But just moving on and talking about mentoring, this is where Lou's mentoring could come in for Kanan because he needs someone like Lou. We've seen how Marvin's mentored him and even again in episode 9, but he's always missing too. But someone who said he never misses is Lou. The one time he did miss was when he used the Tech 9 and I'm sure he'll never make that mistake again. But what Kanan lacks in this moment in time is how to get shit done and get shit done right. Raq told him that don't mess with 22s, they just BB guns, and the 357s are only good in movies. You buck that shit off, the police in Jersey will hear you, and all them other guns like Tech 9s and Uzis, they jam, and you can't aim right, but Glocks, they're for real work. And despite Raq telling him exactly what to do, he failed for whatever reason, but Lou potentially mentoring him with this side of the game, which is what Kanan needs, especially after watching this episode. This is what we could really see in season 2, and maybe something similar from Scrappy as well, because we all know he's back. But let's move on and talk about Raqu's strategy and how she played her chess game, because Raq showed exactly why she was ahead of Unique in this episode. Unique was attacking with aggression, no game plan, just shoot straight on sight. If you see anybody from Raquel's side, whether it be woman, child, he didn't care because of how Marvin came at him at the beginning of the episode when he was with his own son Jerome. But this episode showed how much ahead Raq is in her war against Unique. Her strategy is unmatched, and this was all in the works from the previous episode when she had Lou steal Unique's jacket, and Unique's approach to move with a chip on his shoulder, sending a message loud and clear, is what is eventually going to come back and kill him. Raq may have lost a few battles, but she will come out on top and win the war. And I'm going to expand on this with the use of the 48 laws of power and the strategies of war, because the key to warfare in relation to the 48 laws of power and what made Raquel's mind stronger was her being able to control her emotions in this situation. And this is despite Lou being put in hospital. She showed discipline and toughness, despite her losing her corners, despite losing her connect, and despite Lou being put in hospital. She didn't act on emotion. She recognized when she needed help, and she was big enough to ask Marvin and admit to him that she needs him. She also had a plan in place and put the wheels in motion for in episode 8, which she initially set out with Lulu to carry out with Unique's jacket and killing Detective Howard. And the plan could have easily have been derailed after Lulu was put in hospital, but she adapted. She had Duke play a position with Detective Burke, and she had Kanan play the position which Lou was supposed to play, and she stuck to her original plan. And Raq definitely outthought Unique. She moved 3 moves ahead of him while he was acting purely out of aggression. But those are some of the key main talking points coming away from episode 9. So let me know what you guys think down below in regards to Marvin and Jukebox's relationship going forward, Raquel's strategy with Unique's jacket, and do you think Detective Howard is dead or alive? Drop all your comments down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.